meteorologist David Cox here at the National Weather Service in Jackson, Mississippi. And we will go through this weather briefing for Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. The main important updates, we'll go over a brief regional weather summary of what occurred with Hurricane Helene. And then we'll go through locally expected limited rainfall through the next week, seasonally warm, and then there will be a front bring in more seasonal temperatures into next week. In the wake of that, we will have some increase in wind gusts, and we'll also go over the low chance for tropical development over the next week. So here's just a quick regional summary of the maximum rainfall observed across the Florida Panhandle into the Carolinas. This ranged from 5 to 10 inches on average, with some localized 10 to 20 across the Carolinas. So a lot of the impacts you saw in the more mountainous regions were due to those higher totals. And here's a little bit more zoomed in version that the office in Greenville, Spartanburg was able to generate. And there were some localized 20 plus inches, even upwards of 30 inches into the mountains. So a very devastating impact from that rainfall. So just wanted to give you a quick update on kind of what happened across the last week. In addition, the wind gusts with this, as we were reiterating that this could be an impactful storm fairly inland, and it really was, because you had the combination of such high rainfall totals over several days and some 60 to even 90 mile per hour wind gusts across Florida, Panhandle into Georgia, and even into the Carolinas. There were a wind gust of in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. So for our region, much quieter, very dry week expected, really less than a half an inch, and mainly to the southeast of the Natchez Trace, and that's really going to be confined into tomorrow. Some moisture will lift to the north across the area and bring some light rain chances into tomorrow, really around a 20 to maximum around 30% or so into the Pine Belt. So the temperatures into next week are going to gradually be fairly benign through the weekend, and then some cooler conditions into next week in the wake of the front that we discussed. So lows will feel pretty nice. We will be more seasonal, even some lows falling into the lower 50s. So really nice conditions expected through the next week. We are expecting, these are some of the wind gusts around the region. The main thing is into early next week, there will be a tightening pressure gradient, so we will have some increased northeasterly winds, but otherwise should be a fairly benign and quiet week. So the tropical outlook for the next week, we are watching a tropical disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico. It does have a low 30% chance of formation. Over the through the weekend, or through the week, the probabilities have decreased from around 50% earlier in the week to 30%. So the conditions have become a little less favorable, and if anything does develop, it is not expected to be a concern for the northern Gulf Coast states. The tropics do remain active across the central Atlantic basin. We do have Hurricane Kirk and Tropical Storm Leslie, but these Atlantic basin storms are not a concern. These are expected to remain well out into the open Atlantic.